The Philadelphia Eagles kick off the NFL season with a W against the rival Dallas Cowboys, 24-20. What went down? What we learned from these teams in 2025, and we're making them picks for the rest of the Week 1 games on today's Peacock and Williamson.
NFL analyst Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson bring you expert NFL analysis every day in less than 30 minutes. Get an inside look at the NFL on the field and in the front office with elite breakdowns to next-level analysis and in-depth information only for the real NFL fans. This is Peacock and Williamson, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Peacock and Williamson NFL Show. Brian Peacock alongside Matt Williamson at BD Peacock at Williamson NFL. Thanks everybody for making us your first listen on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We made it. We're here. The season has now begun, and we've got games, and we got games to break down in the rear view now. We've got games to look forward to in Week 1, making our picks, and so I am pumped for it. I hope you guys are too, and I hope everyone hits that subscribe button. And seriously, there's a lot of everydayers that aren't subscribed, so help us out. You already listen to the show every day. Just hit that button right now. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you are listening to this podcast. And let's get it going with the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, Matt. We made it. Kind of a feeling out process in this game a little bit. I think my number one takeaway in this game, beyond the shenanigans that happened after opening kickoff, was that Dak Prescott played a really good game. And his team lost, and he didn't get as much help as he needed to by his football team.
Yeah, and I mean, it was such an eventful game. There were so many things that happened to talk about, you know, big headlines type things. And early on, I'm thinking, man, these teams are missing Micah Parsons and Jalen Carter a lot. Yeah, they're just moving down the field over and over. And to your point, I thought both quarterbacks played really, really well. And I was just on Locked On NFL with Wig saying I can be a little harsh on Hurts, you know, that a lot of quarterbacks could win in that environment. But, boy, he gets better all the time. And I thought he was really calm, and not just the leg stuff, but the leg stuff came in huge, the running. And I thought the same thing about Dak, too. I'm like, this is not an easy situation for Dak Prescott to be in as the leader of the team. Everyone in the world's staring at you, and he's playing a really, really good game. And frankly, and up until the storm, which was another weird thing that happened in this game, CeeDee Lamb was crushing it. You know, I mean, the Eagles got nothing from their receivers other than Goddard, a lot of just check downs. And I give Hurts credit for that too, just taking what's there. But, you know, Lamb's ripping through the secondary over and over. And then you go to the delay, and Lamb can't catch a cold. And Wig and I are also talking about this, and we equated it to tonight's game. It's a big reason I took the Chiefs is when weird things happen, weird environments, teams that have played in Super Bowls and big games, like I think going to Brazil was weird. I think playing after a long rain delay is weird. The Eagles, Chiefs, I think handle it a lot better than most teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, great job by Roger Goodell to pull the lever at the right time too on that storm, right? Because that's what a lot of fans believe happens in the NFL. That much control over the games, and that they want to change things up, like the Superdome and the Super Bowl, but a decade ago, it was like, let's off the lights. We don't like how this game's going. But to finish up the Cowboys side of the ball when they had the ball on offense, and you nailed it. Like CeeDee Lamb, just unbelievable, getting open, ripping through the defense. But you were, if you had Dallas Cowboys on your fantasy team, it's like, well, unless it was Javonte Williams with a couple of, touchdowns, Dak played well. They go down the field. CeeDee Lamb doesn't quite get in the end zone, out of bounds. And then, quick plunge for a touchdown. So you don't get any points for Dak. You don't get any points for CeeDee Lamb. Still a nice day for CeeDee Lamb, 7 for 110 yards. George Pickens, they went to him a few times, but, Pickens is obviously not going to be the high efficiency player in the offense. And you don't get fantasy points for pass interferences, right? So they kind of missed on a few, but I thought Dak played well. You just didn't see the fruition of it on the scoreboard or in your fantasy teams for how good Dak played, and obviously the unfortunate drops from CeeDee Lamb who took it on the chin after the game and basically just said, look, that was on me. I got to catch the football. I can't do that. And so, he was pretty down and distraught. I mean, that last one too, that would have been an unbelievable catch, like diving. Sure. It was a nice throw by Dak, but like it wasn't necessarily all drops for CeeDee Lamb that caused the outcome of this game. But just quite not quite as sharp for the Dallas Cowboys on offense, and clearly the Philadelphia Eagles defense was hurt by not having Jalen Carter out there the entire game, even though some other guys played really well. And if we're looking at that side of the ball for the Eagles, man, how did they get Jihad Campbell at pick number 30 at the end of round 1? Like, he looked really good out there next to Zach Bond, flying around, making plays deep down the middle of the field in coverage. I just,
he was my defensive rookie of the year pick. I felt really good about that. Man, this guy is
the highest graded player.
Oh, was it?
According to PFF, yeah.
Wow. Again, like you said, if you just box score scouted the quarterbacks, you'd be like, man, pretty lackluster game for both these guys, except for Hurts running.
Right.
Not true at all. I thought they both played really, really well, and their team should be encouraged.
So this is where probably Micah Parsons comes in, is on the other side of the ball when the Cowboys were on defense and the Eagles were on offense. Essentially they're like, we're going to play zone. And when I say we're going to play zone, Matt Eberflus had 100% zone coverage on passing downs, on passing snaps for Jalen. 100% zone. And if you look at the passing chart for Jalen Hurts, a ball hardly hit the ground. He was 19 of 23 passing, but for only 152 yards, right? So you see
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith did nothing.
By the way, I'm going to be out in my that's kind of why I was talking about the fantasy angle with Prescott and Pickens. I'm going to be out in my Yahoo Guillotine League, by the way, because I had Dak, Pickens, and AJ Brown. And so goodbye. That's the end of that season. So
along those lines, Pickens is somebody I have in both my leagues, started him in both, but I got a kick out of it. Field Yates put out right after the game, who I know a little bit from ESPN. He's like, yep, I'm that owner that took McCaffrey in the first round and AJ Brown in the second. Feeling good.
More on that.
More on that later.
More on Christian McCaffrey's injury.
Yeah.
A lot of people holding their breath on that one, fantasy players and 49ers fans. But Hurts took what was given to him by the Cowboys, and it was
big time.
And everything was underneath. He hit the one deep post to Jahan Dotson, who was the leading receiver. He had the 51-yarder of his 59 yards, so 2 catches for 8 yards. Otherwise, AJ Brown didn't have a target until the fourth quarter.
I know. Forgot about him.
Such a strange game, but that was the game plan. And the Philadelphia Eagles said, okay, this is what you're going to give us. We're going to throw everything underneath. Everything was shorter than 10 yards, aside from that one post that Hurts hit down the field against that soft zone coverage. And, Saquon Barkley, I think the Cowboys did a good enough job, but it was also like, okay, cool. We're just going to take it, what you're giving us. And Jalen Hurts ran it 14 times and was the leading rusher for 62 yards and a couple of touchdowns and some tush pushes. And in the end, the Cowboys just kind of died a slow death in this game.
Yeah, a lot of Eagles penalties too, that I thought was an underlying storyline. But again, I just thought it was a lot of Hurts maturity, that, okay, death by 1,000 paper cuts, we'll do it. If you're going to give me a big lane, I'll just run for 10 and slide or get in the end zone or dump it to Goddard or, swing one out to the backs or whatever. Just very mature.
Eagles 1-0, Cowboys 0-1. Let's talk Christian McCaffrey injury real quick before we make our picks for the rest of the week 1 games. And if you did not catch our Wednesday show, we do our 6-pack every Wednesday. And so we already made picks for the Thursday nighter, the Friday nighter, and a select few games: Niners, Steelers, Raiders, Pats game, Bucks and Falcons as well. So if you're looking for those picks, you're going to find those on Wednesday's show. Next, Christian McCaffrey injury, week 1 NFL picks. This episode of Peacock and Williamson is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks back for another season, and daily fantasy app, making the right call can actually pay off, right? You have these calls before the season, before the games, and now you can let it pay you. You and I make decisions every day, Matt, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. And a special offer for our listeners on Prize Picks. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. It's quick, easy, and it's one of my favorite ways to play fantasy all season long with the DFS payouts. You had a Dak Prescott special. He didn't have a huge line, but he did have over 0.5 passing yards, right? You got that, on the 0.5 passing yards. So looking for Lamar Jackson has another special max discount for 0.5 passing yards for Prize Picks on Sunday. So download the Prize Picks app today and use our code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. This episode is also brought to you by our friends at Mazda. And I've talked a lot about my Mazda and how good of a car it's been for me. And one of our listeners in the comments said, Peacock's Mazda is going to outlast Christian McCaffrey's career. Man, it might. It's already got a year on him. Came into the league a year earlier than Christian McCaffrey did, and it's still going. I don't know if you can just throw some spark plugs and an oil change in on Christian McCaffrey and keep him going, but that's all it's taken for me in my Mazda. And Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive, and that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. And when you test drive a Mazda, it'll be very clear how much it outperforms everything else. And Mazda won the 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick more than anyone else as of August 2025. You know, as an athlete focuses on every detail, Mazda does the same, and you can tell from the accents, interiors, and how it drives. Hand stitched, Napa leather. It's the small details that make the big plays. And just like there's more to every player, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Okay. We already made the pick. I actually already picked the Seattle Seahawks against the spread. The Seahawks were getting points. Niners favored by 2.5.
Yeah,
and actually, let me check the line to see if that's changed a little bit just because of this Christian McCaffrey moved. And for those that haven't heard the news, nothing catastrophic yet. It's not DEFCON 1, as Tom Pelissero put it, talking to people in the 49ers building. But that line has moved back now to 1.5. So the 49ers favored by 1.5 against the Seahawks. I'm keeping the extra point because I made that pick yesterday, man. So
yeah, that counts.
I like the Seahawks at home just because there's so much unknown with the 49ers, and now a little bit more unknown for the 49ers with this Christian McCaffrey injury popping up. And it's not that, you know, a veteran running back is getting a day off on a Thursday or limited in practice on a Thursday because they're being extra cautious. You know, that's fine. This news hits a little bit different because of what the injury is. And Christian McCaffrey last offseason, it was a calf injury, quote unquote calf injury. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, never mind.
Christian McCaffrey injury.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like the week of the season, like, oh, we're not worried about it. And it was like, oh, it's actually Achilles tendonitis, and he's not going to play for 10 weeks. Right. And so when you see calf, like if this was a forearm or a hand or a knee or concussion protocol, whatever, if it was any other injury, but like a quote unquote calf, I don't think there would be as much worry as there is here, because is this just going to be a lingering thing for Christian McCaffrey in those lower legs? It was both Achilles that he had tendonitis in last year, by the way. It wasn't just one side either. And that calf is related. And a lot of times when people have Achilles injuries, the calf is the first thing to start hurting. So week one, you're just trying to ramp up, and he feels his calf a little bit and they shut him down. Precautionary is the word right now, Matt, but you got to feel a little bit less comfortable about Christian McCaffrey and his longevity this year with this type of injury, and specifically that it's the calf related to last year's injury.
Right. And obviously you cover the Niners, talk about the Niners every day. This is something I'm sure you've spoken about to no end, but 99% of the people listening, well, there's probably a lot of Niner fans too, but like myself, took McCaffrey in the first round of their fantasy league, or last year you took him first overall and got 0 points for him. I mean, flushing first round picks on this guy is starting to be the big concern, obviously. You know, we starting him or not? Is he playing or not? Yeah.
The good news is you should know Sunday if he's going to play or not, hopefully before you put your lineups out there. if he plays, he's going to get 27 touches.
He's going to play a ton.
It's either zero or everything. That's kind of how Kyle Shanahan's offense has been. And so I don't know what to think about it right now. Basically, we're going to have to find out, if he practices Friday. We haven't had practice yet as we record this Friday morning. So, again, could be nothing. Feels like something less than ideal for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's big news in the fantasy world, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. Let's get to the rest of these picks for week one around the NFL. Again, check out our 6-pack from Wednesday if you want Chiefs, Chargers, Bucks, Falcons, Niners, Seahawks pick. Doesn't really change my pick at all with the Christian McCaffrey. Does it change yours, Matt? Do you want to go back?
No, I took Seattle. I don't think this helps the Niners.
I thought you took the Niners. I thought we didn't take.
No, I remember my thoughts on that one were I didn't know who was going to be favored, so anyone getting points I was taking.
Okay, so we agreed on a couple games.
That might have been the one I think only one of the 6 we agreed
on. The Patriots, Raiders, and Steelers, Jets. So those are all part of the 6-pack from Wednesday.
Yeah.
So if you want those picks, let's get to the Bengals and the Browns. Then in week one, a lot of division opponents and rivals going head to head in week one, which is a lot of fun. So let's talk Cleveland Browns, who I know they are a team that you're not too big on this year. How many points scares you away? Because clearly we would both pick the Bengals straight up, but the Bengals are on the road at the Browns. How many points scares you off? Right now, the line is Cincy favored by 5.5.
I say 5.5 is the last I saw, which is not enough for me to drift away from the Bengals. I think Burrow and company, I know their opening day and week 2 record is really poor, but they're healthy. They've played some in the preseason. I think they're a much better team. Now, I don't trust the Bengals defense at all. So this could definitely be an over game. I'm looking at 48.5. I mean, and I don't have much faith in the Browns offense, but I do think that Stefanski can scheme things up and Flacco's an NFL quarterback. But I think when it's all said and done, the Bengals are just going to start pulling away and Burrow's going to throw 3 or 4 touchdowns,
By the way, real quick on the Eagles-Cowboys game, there's 41 points in the first half and they still hit the under.
I know. I heard that too. That's crazy.
Week one is bizarre and it's bonkers. It was a good lesson. And I kind of talked about it where it's like, man, week one division opponents, things get a little bit weird. 8.5 points was kind of a lot, even though I liked the Eagles in that game. And it turned out it was a lot. It was too many points. I almost feel the same way in this game. I'm
a little gun shy after last night that way.
You get the home dog, but it's under 6 points. It's under a touchdown. So 5.5 doesn't scare me off. I'm with you. I'm going Bengals.
I don't feel great about it though. There's some other games I feel much better about.
I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole. I don't know what to expect from either one of these teams. I don't know what to expect from this game. We've got the Dolphins at the Colts. The Colts at home favored by 1.5 points in week one, Matt.
This one I am interested in putting some of my podcast earnings on.
Okay.
And I don't feel super duper strong about it, but Miami in a dome early in the season, I'm sure that creative offensive mind has something the league has not seen yet. The speed is all there across the board. Achan's playing. I think Miami wins.
Yep. The latest was that Tyreek Hill and Achan are both expected to play, which is huge for the Dolphins. Early season, not weather concerns at all.
No.
And you're getting 1.5. I'm with you, man. I'm going to take the Dolphins on this one.
Okay.
So that was easy, I guess, even though I still don't know what to expect from these football teams. The Cardinals and Saints, the Arizona Cardinals, who I like a lot, are on the road at the Saints. I don't like how many points this line is on the road to be favored by 6.5 points. And, that New Orleans isn't the easiest place to play, even though I think they might be one of the worst teams in the league this year. And don't forget, they put up 40 points in week one last year.
Yeah, and I think Kellen Moore is a good coach. And I think the offense can be respectable and sort of quarterback friendly. I was a little shocked that the number was this big. I thought it was going to be 3.5, 4, something like that. And I definitely think the Cardinals are the better team. But like every fan base, I'm sure New Orleans is going to be loud and optimistic and a hard place to play. So I'm taking the home points. I don't think they win.
I'm still taking the Cards.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm going to give up those points. I'm giving up a lot of points this week, but this is just one team I don't believe in the Saints. And I've got to put my money where my mouth is, Matt, because I've been hyping up the Cardinals as an improved football team. And I love the waves that they'll be coming at Spencer Rattler with their new look defensive line. They got a lot of talent there now. And I think they have plenty of talent on offense. And Are we going to see a big jump in year 2 from Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I kind of think so. That's one of my keys I'm looking at is so Matt Harmon really laid this out, and I defer to him a lot on wide receiver stuff, that they've making him do all the hard stuff. He lines up at the line of scrimmage and has to battle man coverage over and over. They never move in the slot. They never move him around. They don't manufacture stuff for him. So I'm really going to pay attention to that. And I guess he's added like 15 pounds of muscle too. He kind of looks like David Boston in that Cardinals uniform, right?
Okay, fight through that physical man coverage then.
Yeah, exactly.
And Cards offensive line, I like it. They'll be able to run the ball a little bit. Yeah, give me the Cardinals.
Pretty nasty, yeah.
New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. Another early game that is a division rival. The start of a rough schedule for the New York Giants.
Sure.
What do you expect from these Commanders in year 2? Do you think they're going to play where they left off in the regular season last year and maybe even be better with their second-year quarterback now in Jaden Daniels?
I might regret it, and the Commanders might put 50 on them, but I'm taking the points here. And again, you've kind of talked about the Giants a little bit, that you like them a little bit more as a team. I think you have, right? I mean, I'm intrigued by them. I think that they have pieces. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games.
I don't know how good of quarterback play they're going to get, but I was excited with what I saw. I was pleasantly surprised, I think, with what I saw from Jackson Dart in the preseason, but he's not playing in this game. And again, he's still going to be a rookie, even when he does play. But that front seven, like if you have some decent quarterback play, and they've got playmakers, and by the way, Neighbors' little back injury popped up. He's going to get back off in practice this week. I don't think it's going to affect if he plays or not, but it's being, a lot of caution out there in week 1. No, guys don't want to get teams don't want to get their guys hurt. I mean, it's kind of a sleeper team because I don't think anybody expects them to be good. And
I think they're pesky, though. It'd be hard to play again.
Right. Yeah. And so Washington should be favored in this game. I still have some questions about Washington and their overall team. How many points should they be favored by is the question. 5.5. Is 5.5 too many?
For me,
I'm going to say it's not in week 1.
Okay. No, I think the Giants, their O-line's not great, but I'm not sure Washington can take advantage of that,
I probably go under on this game too, which is why maybe you would want to take points in this game. It's going to go under.
I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I'm torn. I'm torn the more I think about this one. 5.5. You know what? Again, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Said some good things about the Giants.
Yeah.
I'll take the points with the Giants.
Okay. All right. Cool.
You talked me into it. I don't know if you talked me into it or I talked myself into it.
I think you talked yourself into that one. Yeah.
It's early in the season. There's some teams I just don't feel strongly about. I want to see how these teams look in week 1. I'll feel a lot better about my picks, I think, in week 2. I'm a little wishy-washy on some of these. And I think the folks at FanDuel have done a good job of putting these lines in a spot that's made these picks difficult here in week 1. Let's make the rest of our picks for week 1 next. Today's episode of Peacock and Williamson is brought to you by DoorDash. Who delivered? It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP. Well, we've only got one game to crown. Who delivered? Powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered the most. So let's break it down. And I think we already talked about the quarterbacks, right? I'm gonna go with both quarterbacks. I thought played very well for their football teams. One in a winning effort, one in a losing effort in Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. Even though if you look at the box score, no touchdown passes and barely 300 yards combined passing between them. I thought they still played very good football for their teams, and they delivered in a big way. No hesitation, no delay. They came through when their teams needed it. And if you've been watching week after week, those performances aren't a fluke. They're good quarterbacks, right? For the Cowboys and the Eagles. And just like Dak and Jalen Hurts, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash streaks. You save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season. You could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period good through November 18th. Okay, Matt, here we go. Let's keep making picks for week 1. A lot of early games here. I'm gonna enjoy my breakfast, I think, on Sunday. We got the Carolina Panthers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags at home, favored by 3.5.
I like Jacksonville here, and I don't think Carolina is going to have that going to Florida heat problem, but still, Florida home games early to start the season, I think, is a thing. I just think Lawrence rips these guys up. I mean, like for DFS, I would be really interested in Lawrence and Hunter, and I think those two receivers and Lawrence have big days.
Jacksonville is just a better football team. Will they play like it with a new coach?
I'm kind of leaning towards yes. I'm kind of drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit on Jacksonville.
Okay. You always drink the Jacksonville Kool-Aid, and then in November, you're like, oh, that Kool-Aid wasn't very good.
Think, yeah.
3.5. Give me Jacksonville. They're better.
Okay.
Let's go. We got the Titans and the Broncos. Cam Ward's debut against one of the best defenses in the NFL, and the folks at FanDuel that are making the odds don't think this is going to go well for him. 8.5, one of the biggest lines of the week. Denver at home, favored by 8.5. And I wonder how often Cam Ward in his life has played in that environment.
Probably never.
Probably never.
Probably never. And they rarely lose at home the first couple of weeks of the season. I have some optimism about the Titans, but I joined my first ever Eliminator League, and this was my pick. I mean, this is a team I'm most confident will win their game this week is Denver. It's just such a nasty defense. Surtain on Ridley, then what does that leave me in terms of the rookie first-year starter in an awful environment with a great pass rush? We didn't mention Nick Bonito signed a big deal, and deservedly so. He's been really, really good for those guys. I don't fear the Titans defense. I'm sure that they can control the game just running the ball. I'll lay the 8.5, but that's a pretty big number.
Bonito's just lightning off the edge.
He's interesting, isn't he?
The reason why 8.5 scares me, and I'm with you on in every way, and I think the Broncos could win this, 10-0, even if it's a low-scoring game. But it could be a low-scoring game. Titans know that. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to, protect their young quarterback, and the Broncos might do a little bit of the same. But in the end, I think I got to give up the points and take Broncos here in a big win. Lopsided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a buzzsaw they're walking into.
Absolutely. We got Lions-Packers in the afternoon. The Detroit Lions and the Pack. I mean, this is a fun game to start the year, man. Green Bay at home, by the way, favored by 1.5 over the Lions. The division champs. Come on.
On Locked On NFL, we just pick them against not with the spread. And I said kind of the same thing. Like, I'm just taking the home team. The fan bases should be so excited. This should be a great environment. If it was in Detroit, I'd take the Lions. I thought the spread was 2.5, though, not 1.5. And if I could get it at 2.5, I'm taking the Lions. I'm not touching it at 1.5. So I said I'd take the home team straight up. I guess I'll lean towards the Packers. But I'll be honest, this game and Ravens-Bills that we haven't brought up yet are just get your popcorn ready and watch for me.
This is an easy one for me. Packers all the way. I would
really?
take Packers if the line was 3. Yeah. Packers at home. Parsons, the Lions changeover, both coordinators might be some. Do you remember a couple of years ago when this happened with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? It took them.
Oh, yeah. It took a while.
Half a season to figure things out, and then ended up firing them and getting new coordinators in there. So I think that's a big
could go bad,
especially early in the season, week 1, going on the road, Lambeau. And I like the Packers. So, yeah, give me Packers. Easy one for me. We got the Texans at the Rams. Good on good. This is a fun game as well. Like a lot of really good games here, including the next couple we're going to talk about to finish up the slate on Sunday and Monday night. Texans, Rams in the afternoon. The Houston Texans travel to Los Angeles in this one, and it is a 3.5-point favorite for the home Los Angeles Rams.
I think this is a really long day for both offensive lines. I mean, that Texan pass rush is nasty. Verse and company is not who you want to face in week 1 for your rebuilt garbage last year O-line, totally new, and I think both quarterbacks can handle it, but I think this is a very low scoring game. And I think Houston actually wins, to be honest with you. I don't know what kind of answer they have for Nico Collins, where Stingley and Petrie and those guys, I think, can deal with Adams and Nakua more so. So I'm definitely taking the points. It's one of my favorites of the week, but I am taking Houston to win too.
Yeah, not the longest trip from Houston to LA, not the worst, road environment to play in.
No.
I like the Texans top to bottom better. It's one of those games where Stafford's a really good quarterback. Do they have the quarterback advantage? I don't know. I picked Stroud to potentially be an MVP of the league this year. So I got to stay on the Texans. They become my Texans this year. And I think you laid out a lot of the reasons why. And so you're getting 3.5 points. Yeah. Give me the Houston Texans.
And we know Stafford's playing. Okay. We've been talking about the back now for 2 months. But that doesn't mean one hit away he's not, or he's moving well, or protects himself well, or
Right. Do you remember Aaron Rodgers coming off that Achilles and he's like, oh,
brutal,
moving around different, doesn't quite look like the same guy. And so if that's the version of Stafford, Rams gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, against that pass rush, right?
Ravens Bills Sunday Night Football. My goodness, talk about popcorn in week 1. The league really doing a number with some of these matchups. Love seeing Cowboys and Eagles kick off the season on Thursday night, and then you get the Ravens and Bills on Sunday Night Football, and it is Baltimore on the road favored against the Buffalo Bills, disrespecting the Buffalo Bills on their turf, 1.5 points.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is going to be so awesome. I mean, these two quarterbacks alone are just such a blast to watch. I think the Ravens are clearly the better roster, maybe the better coach team. But in that environment, if you're going to give me points, I think I'm just taking a home dog.
I wish it was more points, to be honest with you, because I think the Ravens should be favored. That makes it difficult for me. So I'm going to go Baltimore. But I think this is going to be a really good game, a really close game. It's just 1.5 is like, that's not enough. Come on.
I'm not touching it. It's not one of my favorites at all.
So give me Baltimore in this one. And then we've got another division rival, Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. Two young quarterbacks in year 2. Two teams that expect a lot from their current builds and their current rosters. And again, we got another home dog by 1.5 points. And I think I'm going to go the other way on this one and take those Chicago Bears. And they've burned me so many times. You should probably not go with me taking these Chicago Bears, but I'm going to take the 1.5 points at home for the Bears and believe in Ben Johnson getting some things right for this football team.
I am not strongly, but pretty strongly feeling the opposite. I think the Vikings rebuilt offensive line should win against the Bears front with some consistency. We know they got weapons, even with Addison being out. But what really worries me from a Bears perspective is, hey, I love the Ben Johnson hire. I think he could be great. But it's his first ever coaching gig, and Caleb holds the ball so long, and it just against Flores' mind, it's just twisted and sadistic, is worrisome to me. They're going to bring him from all over the place.
He will be under pressure.
Yes.
I got to believe, though, and look, Ben Johnson's coordinated against this defense and this scheme a lot. So it's not going to surprise Ben Johnson. It might surprise Caleb Williams a little bit, but not Ben Johnson.
Right.
Caleb's played against this team.
He played him, but still.
Right.
Flores is a mad scientist.
It's going to be ball out. It's going to be run after catch, ball out. Luther Burden could he potentially have a big role, already in week 1 for this football team. The tight ends, that's kind of the counter to it. Try to get some big catch and runs. Do they have enough horses? You're kind of scaring me with the way you built that, because I think you're totally right with the way that he's going to try to pressure Caleb Williams. Are they going to be ready for it? We'll find out.
We'll find out. It will be fun.
There we go. That's the week
Good
1
slate of game.
Oh, awesome slate of games. I can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for Friday night. I'm excited for this Brazil game as well. And of course, Matt and I are going to be back Monday breaking down everything we saw from Friday night and Sunday. And we'll talk to you then right here. Make sure you're subscribed up on YouTube and everywhere you get your podcasts. Peacock and Williamson.